Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Jongravesshow. You know, Resident Evil Umbrella Corps trailer has come out a little while ago, and I know that pretty much that it may not be one of those games which that a lot of people are necessarily really looking forward to. Now let me first start off by saying this. Resident Evil, a series that is supposed to be a survival horror game, which is supposed to have puzzle-based, or at least you're supposed to be in a puzzle-based area that has a really good atmosphere and has, you know, this silly but a believable story because of all the files and all of the different things in which that you can explore and find in this specific area, which harkens back to this crazy experiment which sort of paved its way, or at least which is sort of like a small origin to all of the monsters in which that you fight within this area. The first Resident Evil had this, the second had this, the third, the fourth somewhat. 4 sort of really didn't have that. 5 really didn't. 5 had it, but in order for you to really grasp that, is or at least for 5, the area really got a lot bigger to the point where you are just like in an African village and you're going through all these crazy places. 6 really didn't have that, because 6 you just bounce from one place to another, and really there was no real trying to find an origin for the monsters anymore. It's just all this crazy stuff. And the reason why I break that down is because of pretty much looking at some of these spin-off games and looking at how big the Resident Evil series has gotten with the Resident Evil Survivor, Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, the Outbreak series. I personally like the Outbreak series, even though it does use the original fighting game engine. I would actually like to see that actually come back, because that would be a good thing of just having you explore these specific areas within this infected city, and then you pick from a few survivors who have some skills, and then you just go through with three other people, and then you know, it's like the game plays out like that. The reason why I bring that up is because Resident Evil Umbrella Corps came out not too long ago, a game which that they are really pushing for the PvP aspect of the trailer. Now, I don't necessarily like PvP, or at least I don't like it against people out there who I don't necessarily know. I mean, sure, sure, for those of you out there who do necessarily like it, love it, and you live for it, I pretty much commend you guys, man, for keeping that fucking for keeping that area of gaming alive. And I do thank you for that. But really, when they look at this Resident Evil, or at least they look at the Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, I look at it and I say, well, it's not that bad, because it's only one aspect of the game itself, which is player versus player, and a lot of people, they really do like that. And a lot of people, they do look at that and they say, well, now we don't want that, because first off, if I really wanted a good zombie game, I would play Left 4 Dead, I would play, Dead Island, I would play pretty much the Black Ops Zombies things that is in the Call of Duty games. And to be fair, it's well, you know, looking at those, they do handle that a little bit better than whatever this was. But from what I can say is that this does seem to be it seems to be that it's that one thing that a lot of PvP games that they don't necessarily have, or at least I'm just going from the trailer. It's nice to actually sort of see a game that does have a PvP feel to it, but then there's also there's another obstacle in the middle of it. Now, of course, if you ask any Resident Evil fan, they say that this game is not a Resident Evil game because it doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game. And honestly, I could say the same thing, man, about Dark Side Chronicles. It's an on-rail shooter. It does not feel like Resident Evil. It feels like fucking House of the Dead, or pretty much if anything else, or pretty much looking at Resident Evil Dead Aim, that doesn't feel like a fucking Resident Evil game. Neither does most of the other shit. That's not. Or pretty much, let's look at the best, or at least like the most widely accepted Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 4. That does not feel like a Resident Evil game, because first off, you are just on a track. the entire game is you just running straight. That's it. You are pretty much running straight. You do have a few obstacles here and there, and you do get brand new weapons every now and again. But really, Resident Evil at its heart is you being stuck in one area. It has all these puzzles around. It has all these articles and all the rest of this other shit, which pretty much like breaks the game down as you move on. But from what I can tell, none of the newer Resident Evil games have that feeling anymore. I mean, sure, we know who these characters are. We know how the controls go. We know how the weapons work. We know how all this other shit work. But honestly, remember that time back in the day when people said that Resident Evil 4 is not a good game because it doesn't have zombies in it? Do you remember that? Because I do. Honestly, I know a lot of people that they're not looking forward to this game, but all I can say is like, we know that it's not going to be the best Resident Evil game to come out, but for the very least, like just be happy that they're giving something to, or at least like that they're doing something for the people who did like the what was that, the Raccoon City people. Let the this is their game. Let them have it, and it looks pretty okay, or at least for right now. So that is what I gotta say about that. Sorry to make this video so long. I'll catch you guys next time. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I'm out.